Alright. First of all, I got a question a couple of times. What was the translation service I was referring to yesterday? That's dipple.com. For the ones that want to do now. Test it out. This is the dashboard of Channel Engine. You've seen my slides. On the left, you've got your own system. It can be e-commerce platform, ERP system, PIM system, anywhere, or even a Google Sheet where you have your product information and where you want your orders coming in from Channel Engine. So in this demo account, you see 8,500 products, and you can decide what to send where. So for white label selling, you probably want to sell either anything or maybe a little subset to test on one of the marketplaces. So the first thing you do is create a listing, so you decide what to send where based on different rules. So for some companies of ours, our clients have 100,000 SKUs. They don't want to sell everything, so they put in these business rules. This business rule can exclude or include any product depending on the rules you set. So it can be any price, stock, it can be brands you want to exclude, or you could say just that EAN code you want to include or exclude. So this is one of the example filters. In this case, it's a whole bunch of 50 brands they want to include, but you can easily flip it to say, well, I want to sell everything except those. In this case, they say, well, at least 0 in stock, or sometimes they have their own warehouse, have their own web shop as well, so you can minimize it to 10. So a lot of these customers do it like this. Any field in your data feed, data set, you can use to create these filters. I won't dive too deep into this one, but there can be even custom attributes people use. For instance, in fashion, they use collection or seasons, and then you can filter it out. That's one step. And the next step is that you can do pricing optimization. You saw the price differences between the various marketplaces. So once you have the price of one of the products in your system, maybe you want to add something on it, or you want to boost the product in the first period in time. If you want to go to C discount, for instance, you can say, well, I want to set a discount of 10% on it. You can round it off commercially if you want. Choose one of the filters and then apply it to one of the platforms. You can stack all these pricing rules, so you can add a fixed fee, percentage on top of each other in any order you want. The other thing is when you sell in different countries, is that we have different currencies. So if you have your price in euro and you want to sell to Denmark, for instance, we get the exchange rate every 15 minutes, recalculate it for you, and also here you have the commercially rounding off for any rounding you want to do. Next step might be interesting. We'll go to Amazon because there's got some data in there. Is repricing. Repricing won't be very useful for your own brand, but if you resell any product, it's interesting to see what kind of data we have. So we've got quite an advanced repricing engine. Not only reprices down, but also reprices up. So for instance, if there is a competitor and you reprice quite aggressively towards the lowest price, and the competitor runs out of stock, then we reprice up, because you don't need to be the lowest price anymore. If you reprice down, you're not the cheapest, but you hit the buy button, we stop repricing. So we don't go down to the lowest. So that's important for your margins. You can get any of the product selections and apply a repricing rule, so the product selection can even be one product if you want. You can say, let me see, if we have the purchase price, take your purchase price plus a certain minimum margin you want as a bottom. We've got a lot of scenarios you can apply to. So, for instance, if you have the buy button, you don't want to reprice anymore. And we can exclude or include competitors. So that's something very useful. So, for instance, you have competitors with low performance rating, you can exclude them if your performance rating is well. If you just start on the marketplace, you can do the slider a little bit lower because you want to have your first sales. Also, some of our clients have multiple seller accounts, so you want to be able to include or exclude those into your repricing if you want. We do get all the information, so as soon as something changes in the competitive field, can be stock or prices, whatever, we get all this information back. So it can be review rating, the amount of reviews, how fast they ship, whether they have to buy a box or not. And based on that, we automatically do the calculations. That's the pricing part. And then the other way around is just as important, is we get all the orders from all these platforms into one list. So if you have a 3PL provider, then we can just put in the orders automatically, but we also fetch the FBA orders or FB or all the orders. So everything is synchronized. I just spoke to one of you guys about one of the most common questions from customers, and that's, can you send me an invoice? What we have in the system is we can generate the invoices for you, also taking into account the VAT rules with the minimum thresholds per country. So when you register for a VAT number in Germany, you just put it in, we validate and you can activate it, and we generate invoices in the language of the receiver. So if someone from Switzerland orders on Amazon.de, we generate the invoice in German, French, and Italian. So you don't have to do that. And we can even send it through your own mail service if you want. So you don't have to have at channelengine.net email address. You can use your mail service if you want to. So that's just an additional thing we have in the platform. We also take into account returns and statistics and stuff like that, because these are the most important parts of Channel Engine.
Anybody have any burning questions at this moment? They're pretty impressive, yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm just going to show you one more little thing, because it's, once you're on this platform and you just want to add another channel, just click on add. Maybe you want to sell on Minto. You just put in the API keys, select the products, and then you're done. API tokens, save, select products, synchronize, and you get your orders back immediately. So that's goes for Wish as well. So the first thing is get your products in the right order in one system, and then you can just synchronize in all the marketplaces.
Right.
That's the system, yeah, good job.
Yeah, I think you touched on it when you were speaking yesterday, but the data for each product is held within this system, or you put it in, it'll be pulled from your website or somewhere?
Usually it's an external system, so it can be a website, web shop, ERP system, BIM system, or we can also use a Google Docs sheet if you want.
Okay, but every single one of these different platforms is a completely different layout. So what works on Amazon doesn't work on eBay. So some of the systems out there, it pulls it in and it's absolute junk. So how do you avoid that happening on all of these different platforms?
Yeah, what we do is, there are two things. Mainly is the synchronization of the product, so once it's listed already you can synchronize it. So for Amazon we do optimizing a little bit more specific, like you guys do, because it's very specific listings.
Yeah.
For Wish we can just push through the title and description, and of course the basic text should be as complete as possible, optimized for SEO. Keywords already, so there's not much difference. Like I told you yesterday, if you do all the optimizations for Amazon and you do the same thing for the other platforms, you're doing extremely well compared to the others. So usually it's just a short title, just the name of the product without any keywords, and they just put it in there because it's in our ERP system.
So the guys that you're dealing with, in your experience, are they having to spend much time actually going into each platform once the data's been pulled in,
we've got,
then playing around with it, or?
We've got a few types of clients. So one type of client are actually Amazon sellers and looking at all the AMZ stuff and then applying that on the platforms, and they're doing extremely well.
Yeah.
But we also have brands or wholesalers that just say, well, got 100,000 products, just dump it on there. We've got good prices and we ship fast. They don't even create new listings.
Yeah.
They just hook onto the existing products.
Yeah.
So that's a different ballgame, and there we just give them the tools to optimize for margin, and they get rid of stock as well. So if you have overstock, they put it in a separate product listing, and they just dump it on one of the marketplaces.
So just correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a mapping process that you go through. Like in some of the stuff we do, we'll have an Amazon listing because they have different rules, and the eBay listing. We'll customize the titles because there's different rules at different times.
Yeah.
And So that's just a field in that Google Sheet at a minimum, right? So that you have your Amazon title, and then you'll tell them, here's the Amazon title that we want to use, or oh, it's eBay, here's the eBay title we want to use.
And usually you can have multiple columns, so
So you're best off not pulling from a website, but pulling from a data sheet, which will...
In this case,
data sheet or PIM system.
Yeah.
If you just use
tell them what PIN is.
product information management system, so it's just a database with all your products.
Raise your hand if you have a PIN. Keep it up. I'm gonna get a count. Okay.
Basically, the major thing is with products, if you want to list in a certain category, we do get all the, for each category they have different requirements. So some of the marketplaces are very simple. They say just give me the title and a description and you're done.
Yeah.
Others say, well, if you list in this certain category, these 10 attributes are obligated and the other ones are just recommended. So we get all that information from the platforms, and we have to.
Would you have templates to, for example, so if you wanted to go and over 10 different platforms, this is the way to lay out the data for this platform, or would we have to make that ourselves?
We do get the templates from them, so as soon as first thing you do is just get products in, then put them in the right category, and then we pull from the platform what kind of attributes are needed.
Yeah.
So you get a recommendation, say, well, these are complete. The first thing you do is map any attributes you already have,
Yeah.
so, and then everything is missing in the category when you get notifications and you can complete it. Cool.
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be back here in 15 minutes at 3 o'clock. You guys can talk to Jorrit. And is anybody interested in coming in a little early tomorrow and seeing more, diving in a little deeper? Are you up for that?
Yeah, sure.
So we get going at what, 9 tomorrow? So let's say from 8:30 to 9 if you guys want to pop in early.
Sure.
The room will be here and we'll make sure you have access. But I would.
So, remember?
7? We got to go early.
8:30 is good. 8:30 is good.
All right, so go ahead and take the break. We'll talk more administration stuff later.